Hi, I'm Antonio Centeno. I'm the founder of Real Men, Real Style. Today I'm going to be speaking about why is change so hard? Many of us have great aspirations. We see ourselves being better off financially. We want a higher paying job or a more prestigious job. We want to lose weight. We want to gain muscle. We want to become faster. We want to become stronger. We want to have better relationships with our wife, with our girlfriend, with our kids. Yet we find that we can't change, or we feel helpless and that we can't make things happen. Over the last 5 years, I've had, actually even maybe a little bit longer, but I would say the last 5 years, I have been going through a transformation and have been very fortunate to be able to find information that's helping me create positive change in my life. In all those areas I just mentioned, I have a wife, she started off as a girlfriend, but let's just say almost all of those areas I've been able to improve and get better. Now, how have I been able to do it? One is I've opened my mind to thinking, I can't keep doing what I've always done and expect to get to someplace amazing. If you think about that, I've seen this in business and I've seen a few other places, but what got you to where you're at now today is not necessarily going to get you to where you want to be. So you're really going to have to open your mind. And I highly recommend, because in a short video I can't cover everything, but go check out books by Chip and Dan Heath. They've got Switch, they've got Made to Stick. I think they've got a new one that just came out. Go check out what the guys over at the book Change Anything. There were like four or five different authors on this, and they really have a great framework. There's the great book Nudge. There's going to be Drive by, I think Pink is his last name. Guys, there are these amazing books that will just open your mind, and I want to share with you. I want to help dispel one myth, and then I want to help you rethink about how you can create basically systems in your life to create positive change. Now, this is going to link over to an article. I'm going to go into a lot more detail there, and I'm going to also link over to the book, so feel free to go check it out. But guys, I want to get you thinking. I want to get you started on the right path so that you can create positive change. So I read all these books. I started doing all this research when I first created my style system course. The reason I did that is I didn't want the course just to be where I was throwing information at you. I've been in courses that they throw out tons of information, and I've run into the same problem of analysis paralysis. And let's face it, information is everywhere. And if information was really that valuable, people would be running in the libraries and just taking out books. But that doesn't happen. If you go to libraries nowadays, they're pretty much empty. Well, there are some cool libraries out there, but guys, I know my local library, not many people are in it. Yet tons of great, solid information is there to be taken. Oftentimes I feel, and you look on the web, there's just tons of information. Information wants to be free is what they say. And if you look out there, there is, pretty much anything you want is available out there for free on the web. But yet we run into analysis paralysis. Many of us find that we've got all this information, but we don't take action. I've had a guy go through my style system. He said he read about style for 8 years before he really took any action. And that's the key, is that so many of us read, but so few of us act. So how can you act? Well, if you want to improve all those things I talked about, then you're going to have to look at, and you're going to have to get rid of the myth. The number one myth is that willpower will power you, that you can take your willpower and you can just push it right through and make things happen. It's funny, I get people that contact me and they know I spent time in the Marine Corps, and they'll ask, well, it's probably because you were a former Marine, or that you've got that military experience, that you're so disciplined, that you're so hardcore. And I have to admit, I've been through some things which I think give me an advantage over many. I know and I've seen what it is to, I think, compared with my wife's grandmother who spent time in a Nazi work camp, I haven't seen anything. But I have seen, in a sense, people that are stuck in situations and where hope, I'll just say it, I am very fortunate to be an American living in a country in which you have, in my opinion, the opportunity. Oftentimes, and that was a kind of a tangent right there, but really most of us believe that if we've got the willpower, then we should be able to lose weight. If we've got the willpower, we should be able to make the relationship work. If we've got the willpower, we should be able to show up at work every day and work harder and get that raise, get that new job. But that's not exactly true. Willpower is important and it can be increased, but it is a myth to believe that's the only factor. So if you go check out those books, a lot of them give different explanations, but for this video, I'm going to talk about what Chip and Dan Heath, and I think they took this from, it was also talked about in Nudge, but it's the idea that our body and our emotions are like an elephant, and our mind, our logic, is like a little rider on top of that elephant. Can you imagine it? So there's this big elephant, it's moving, and the rider, he is our mind. He's our logic. He's what we know needs to happen. But if the elephant sees food over here to the left, or it sees something, maybe water to the right, it's going to go in that direction. And the guy with the stick on top, he may be able to, try beating the elephant, but as soon as he stops paying attention, the elephant's going to go in one direction, or the elephant's going to go in the other. And it's a constant struggle, a constant battle. And so how do you get the elephant to follow the path? How do you get them to go in the direction you want without always having to prod them with the stick or to try to, and you can't really reason with the elephant. So number one is making sure that you direct the rider. Start with the logic, with the rider on top. Now, the way I do this in my style system is that they work with me directly as an expert. I give them exactly what they need to know in the order they need to know. But whether if you're looking to lose weight, find your Yoda. My buddy Ryan Masters talked about this, and I've also seen Aaron Marino over at Alpha M talk about this. But find the person that you really respect and follow them. Let them be your direction. Let them give you the path. Let them give you the plan. So that your rider, he's not looking to look over one direction. He's not looking over here. He can be focused on the path. So that's number one, direct the rider. Number two is motivate the elephant. Basically, what I mean by motivate the elephant, I mean set it up so that your body and so that emotionally you're going to receive rewards for taking those little steps. In my style systems, I have these automatic emails that come out whenever you do a task. So you do this task, you're held accountable. That's kind of a negative stick and prod. And then the positive stick and prod is that you actually get an email to a fun video, to a fun article that's a little bit lighter and a little bit more, adds a bit of humor. But that right there is what makes my system work. Now, think about, and this is a great example, toothpaste. Did you know that toothpaste, most of us didn't used to, well, if you go back, our great-great-grandfathers didn't brush their teeth. And it wasn't that they didn't want to keep their teeth. In fact, if you go back to the Civil War, one of the biggest exports out of the, whenever all those young men died, was actually their teeth were being sent over to Europe and other to rich people who could afford them because people want good-looking teeth. But yet, why couldn't they simply brush them with something that had a bit of fluoride so that their teeth would last longer? They couldn't get into the habit until Pepsodent came along and said, well, how about if we give it like a little bit of a minty taste afterwards? That way people get a bit of a reward after they brush their teeth. Guess what? It worked. We started brushing our teeth and we stopped, being, I guess, the big exporter of of teeth. It's kind of sick to think about, but just go in. It's a pretty interesting story. So motivate yourself. Promise yourself a reward. If you want to lose weight, find a way to reward yourself for sticking with the new diet or the new food layout that you're following. If you want to go to the gym, a good example for me, if I go to the gym, I give myself the ability to always go to the hot tub. I love the hot tub. So even if I step into the gym, I will reward myself. And there have been times, it's very few, that I simply step into the gym and leave and go right to the hot tub because I just don't feel like working out. I don't feel great. But most of the time, when I've taken that step and I know that reward's there, I am going to go ahead and put in a workout. So find a way to motivate the elephant. Last one is shape the path. So you heard me mention the word systems. And this is something where you create systems in your life so that it becomes harder to go off the path. In the same way that if the elephant's walking and you actually have basically built a ditch that it's hard for him to step out of, he's going to stay on that path. The same thing with roads. Think about it. When you go off driving, you don't go off-roading too much, especially if you drive a car or a minivan like me. Yes, I know I drive a minivan, but I've got a truck. I've got a four-wheel drive truck. And if I want to, I could take that thing off-road. But most of the time, and very rarely, do I ever take my truck off-road. And some of you guys, it's simply because I don't have access to it. Nah, here in Wisconsin, we've got a lot of off-roading. But really, when it comes down to it, when I need to get from point A to point B, the road is a very simple path. It has been shaped for me and it's faster for me to go down that path. So in your life, if you're trying to lose weight, simply get rid of all that junk food. Don't even have it in the house. You will not be able to resist that temptation. Your willpower is like a glass of water. You can only have, it's only going to last so long during the day before it's going to be empty, and you're basically going to give in. So get rid of foods like that. I know in our house, we're kind of following a little bit of the paleo. Abel over at Fat Burning Man has really got me turned on to this way of eating. And I can tell you that grains we don't have bread in our house. Grains and a lot of white flour, it's gone. So that temptation isn't there. I actually have to find other things to eat. And we've set it up so our home is really where we, it's a set system that makes it easier for us to eat healthy. Okay, guys, I could go into this to a lot more. Hopefully you enjoy this. Most importantly, it got you thinking. If you want to learn more, I've got a link to an article right down below. I'm going to go into this in a lot more detail. And guys, if you want more information about men's style, men's lifestyle, go check out my free 47-page ebook. It's there for you. And that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.